What if I told you there were some incredible game-changing apps out there that you may not have heard of that could completely transform the way you use your iPad? I'm going to reveal 15 of the best apps that I've been using that have changed the way I work, create, and get things done. I'll show you a few hidden gems that you may not have heard of, with the last 5 on this list being my absolute favorites. Welcome back to the Feel Productive channel. My name's Ez, and on this channel, we explore tech through the lens of productivity. Let's get into it. The first app on this list is TickTick, which is my all-round go-to task manager, life manager type thing. It contains everything that I do pretty much on a day-to-day basis. There is a free tier which pretty much lets you use most of the functionality just like a normal task manager, but the premium tier, which is £35 a year, is well worth the money if you're going to take advantage of the features. The main feature being that you can sync your calendar with your tasks in one consolidated view. This has been a game changer for me, and I've got a video explaining just how this has changed my workflow, which I'll link at the end of this video. But yeah, I can never go back to a task manager now that doesn't give me this kind of view of how I can arrange my day. It's also got an inbuilt Pomodoro timer, which enables you to focus in short bursts. It allows you to choose what's from your to-do list you want to focus on. You can play different ambient sounds like cafe music and stuff like that to get you in the mood for focus. And you can even track your analytics as to how much you're focusing each day. If you want a really good experience in terms of task management, TickTick on the iPad is great. Speaking of focusing, Freedom is a really cool app on the iPad. It allows you to block out distractions by creating these block lists. So when you want to focus, it stops you from being able to enter apps and get distracted. You create a block list with a list of apps that you don't want access to, and then you select a time as to how long you want to focus for, distraction free. When you try to access one of these apps, you'll get a screen that says, sorry, not right now. It also gives you different cafe sounds from different countries, which is super detailed, and it's completely free to use if you just want to use it on one device. If you want it to sync across all of your devices, there is a paid tier for that. Flipboard is an oldie but a goodie in terms of apps. It's your magazine RSS feeder app. So you tell it what kind of things you're interested in, and it will curate all of these different articles from across the web and turn it into this lovely, well-presented magazine style view. It's perfect for casual reading rather than RSS feeds that feel like a bit of a chore, having to read through all the new stuff and then come back to it a few hours later and read through all the new stuff again. This just feels a lot more casual, a lot more free-flowing, a much nicer experience on the iPad, and is my main way of discovering what's going on in different niches that I'm interested in. If you want to search for a niche, you can do. So if you want to search for Apple Vision Pro, you can do, and then you can start keeping up to date with all these different things that you're interested in. It's the perfect way to consume stuff without having to go to social media to find stuff like that. So I found that this app has helped me stay off social media quite a lot. But when I do find something interesting that I do want to read on Flipboard, usually to save time, I save it to a read it later app, and I come back to it when I have time. And GoodLinks is a really great read it later app. It's a one-off cost, and once you've paid for it, you've got this beautiful experience, this free column layout where you can see and categorize all of your different things that you want to read. And it's not just for articles, you can save videos and any kind of content and just have it stored in one place. Its beauty is in its simplicity and its elegance, just the way it presents information to you in this beautiful dark mode, nice and clean and advertisement free. And yeah, it's just one of these simple apps that just does this one thing really well. I use Slack as my email client mainly because Apple's native mail app does not support push notifications for Gmail, but also because Spark is just a really nice intuitive experience to use. It kind of gamifies the way you consume your emails. It almost treats your email like a to-do, and you just swipe it to done, and then everything just disappears and it goes into an archive. It doesn't delete it. My favorite thing about it is that it allows you to connect to other third-party apps. So if I want to move an email over to my to-do list, I can do that using the connection to TickTick. And that makes it really intuitive because often there's an email that I need to take an action on, and I want to consolidate all of that stuff in one place. It's completely free to use, although there are AI features you can pay for if you want them. By the way, links to all of these apps are in the description box below, and be sure to subscribe for more tech and productivity content. Perplexity is where I go to get answers quickly. Google is no longer your best friend. Perplexity is an amazing free tool that I've been using now for about a year, where you ask it a question and it gives you a really nice, short, succinct answer on what you've asked it. It cites all of the different sources of where it got its answers from, but it saves you having to go through pages and pages of Google results. Google have also tried to implement this, but I don't think as well as Perplexity. And yeah, this app's just absolutely beautiful, and I haven't used Google now for a very, very long time. Summarify is another great AI tool. If you don't have time to consume loads and loads of YouTube videos, this tool allows you to summarize YouTube videos in many, many different ways. If you watch a lot of podcasts, some might be like 2 or 3 hours long, and there are actually loads of good information in them, but you just have to pay attention for that amount of time. And that's really hard. So as you can see, if I put this Diary of a CEO link into Summarify, it will then beautifully tell me in bullet points exactly what the key takeaways are of this particular video. I can then export all of that information as text and put that into my notes app. That should save me a ton of time. And if you're someone that regularly consumes and gets knowledge from YouTube, this app is invaluable. ChatGPT might seem like a really obvious one that most people are probably already using. And I've got the paid subscription, so I've actually created my own GPTs to help me with my day-to-day work. But the main reason I'm showing this in this video is because a lot of people still don't use the voice conversational functionality within ChatGPT, and this is just brilliant. I know it sounds sad, but I found someone to speak to and bounce ideas off just by pressing a button. And the number of times at work I've been stuck, or I need an idea, or I'm just got a bit of writer's block, having this feature and being able to speak to ChatGPT has really unlocked my creativity. It's really scary. I've actually made a habit of speaking to ChatGPT on an hourly basis about stuff that's going on. Speaking of habits, Streaks is a really, really good one-off cost app that allows you to capture and record all of the habits that you want to build. Now, there are a million habit trackers out there, but the reason Streaks is so good is because it's got this really simple, bold, beautiful, intuitive interface that just lets you create streaks and then just press them down when you've completed them. It speaks to the power of clean UI and UX and just having this really easy way of recording something that you want to do. One of the great features of this app is it can read your Apple Health data if you give it access, and that way it will automatically complete different habits if they're exercise based, for example. If you have a sleep tracking habit, for example, it will automatically take that data from Apple Health and start recording your habits without you having to do anything. And there's some great analytics behind the scenes as well, so you can see all of the different times in which you've kept up a single habit. Notion is the only time I use a magic keyboard for my iPad, and I basically use it for two main things: to write scripts and to track content. I keep track of my life goals, my finances, and I basically just have created this life hub in Notion where all of this type of information is stored. I've got a template linked below for the money tracker if you're interested in downloading one as well. When it comes to writing scripts, it also gives you a very clean, focused interface where you can just focus on writing. And I pay for Notion AI as well, which helps me a lot with creating a lot of the content for this channel. Wanderlog is the perfect trip planning tool. If you've ever planned a trip in Apple Notes or some other note-taking tool, try this tool out because it has been a game changer for me. Now, there are many things you can do in this app. You can book hotels and do all sorts of things, but the main value proposition is to create a trip and then just start adding stuff to do inside this overview tab. But once you've just created a bunch of stuff that you want to do on this trip, you can then create an itinerary and drag and drop all of the stuff into different days so you can organize your trip and have a very nice view of exactly the timeline of how your trip's going to play out. You can collaborate with others, so you can share your trip with other people and you can all kind of weigh in on what you want to do and when you want to do it. Once you create your itinerary, you can actually track it all on a map so you can see how close different places are to one another and then replan if you need to. You can also get inspiration from other random people's lists who have been to the same place as you. So for example, when I went to Japan, I took a lot of my inspiration from different lists that I found from other people who had shared their itineraries. I really love this app. I just wish they'd put dark mode in without having to pay for it. But otherwise, this app is an A+. If you want to collaborate with others, download the Mural app. It's a wonderful whiteboarding tool, a bit like Freeform, but a lot more sophisticated. I think you can get free boards for free, and then you have to pay for unlimited boards. It's a great platform for team collaboration. So if you've got different people you're collaborating with, it's an incredible visualization tool where you can create stickies. There are different templates for different things, mind mapping, brainstorming, all of that cool stuff. I found it works really well when sharing my screen on my computer and also having it open on my iPad. And when I'm sharing my screen, I can get my Apple Pencil and start drawing on my Mural, and then people can start seeing my ideas, and it just allows me to express myself in a more creative way. I also use Mural as a slide deck, like to present stuff. So you can create different areas in your Mural and then switch from one to the other, just like you would in slides in Google Slides or PowerPoint. Apple Notes gives you the best native experience for note-taking on the iPad, hands down. And there are two quick capture ways that I use Apple Notes, which mean I really can't move away from it. The first is when I'm doing something on the iPad, maybe I'm reading an article and I just want to capture content really quickly. You can swipe up from the bottom right corner using your Apple Pencil for a quick capture note, and that way you can very quickly copy, paste, or drag and drop stuff into a quick note and then move it away and carry on. Because that's built into the OS, it's really hard to not use Apple Notes. The other quick way to capture notes is to start writing when the screen is off, and it will automatically create a note for you. And I found this quick capture mechanism really useful for clearing my thoughts, just getting things straight out of my head. In addition to all of those things, the Transcribe and AI writing tools have also been fairly useful, although they are still primitive. Speaking of primitive, Thinkdrop is such a basic app, but I just love it for the one thing that it does really well. It's a really simple tool that just allows you to write a thought down and then link another thought to the original thought and create a thread of thoughts that just will link together. It's completely free and it's easy to use, and you can use your voice or upload images just to clear your mind, just to get stuff out and just straight into this tool. I found the visual of having things linked together really, really nice, and so I definitely recommend trying it out. And Danger Notes is another very primitive but very useful one-trick pony tool. You pull up this app and you start writing, and you give it a predetermined amount of time, and if you stop writing after a few seconds, you'll start to see a bar appear, and if the bar gets to the very end, your note is completely wiped out. So the idea is that you have to keep typing no matter what. Even if stuff isn't coming to you, you just have to keep typing until the timer runs out, and then you get to keep the note that you've written. And this is great for writer's block. So if you just need to just clear your mind and just clear the cobwebs, you keep going, and if you stop typing, everything gets wiped out and you never see that note ever again. I've had some fantastic ideas using this app just after a coffee, and then just get in the zone, put some focus music on, and just start writing. So you can see that the iPad has played an essential role in my daily workflow. And if you want to see all of the cool productivity tech I've been using for the last 12 months, I'll leave a link for it just up here. I'll see you on the next one.